Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to record in a different spot, but in the same track. So I'm just going to move the playhead to the end of my first recording, and I am going to record on top of that. So now I have an additional recording in that same track. And I'm just going to hit, instead of the record button this time, I'm just going to simply hit the space bar. That not only stops the recording, but it also stops the playhead. All right. So I've recorded yet another recording in the same track. And what I'd like to do at this point is combine both of those into one recording. So I'm going to select both recordings by clicking on the first one and then clicking on the second one while holding the Shift key. We're going to go to Edit, and we are going to go to Join. Okay, so there we have it. Now it's all one long recording. I'm going to then also edit my image so that the endpoint matches the endpoint of my recording. Now let's say that the end of this recording I'm not too pleased with, so I think I would like to edit that down. Maybe even possibly get rid of it, or maybe even split it. We'll see. So what we'll do is inside the editor pane, we're going to drag it to the 20-second mark, because I think I'd like to lose the last couple seconds there. And you can do it a couple different ways. You can simply hit the delete key, which is what I did, or let's see if we can undo that, or you just go back here and you click on it. And what it did, you'll notice now these tracks are actually split. Okay, so now they are split. So I'm going to give you a few minutes just to go ahead and add on another recording at the end of your original recording, and then playing with the joining and splitting options again in the Edit menu, the splitting and the joining options. So now that you've had a chance to edit this female voice track by joining and splitting, we're going to move on. What I'd like to do next is show you how the podcast should be organized. Because you are going to have several different images, you're going to have several different tracks in this podcast, you want to make sure that you're organizing it correctly. So what we're going to do is add a new track. We're going to choose Real Instrument because we're doing a vocal here. You'll notice it says no effects. We're going to choose Vocals and Female Basic. And what I'd like to do is, in this track, we're going to be speaking about another picture. So we're going to choose the motorcycle picture. That's going to be next. I'm going to move that motorcycle picture down so that it meets the endpoint of our first picture. And in the female basic track, again, make sure you're selecting the correct track. You want to start at the endpoint of your first track of the recording in the female voice track. So again, the female basic track is selected. I move my playhead down to the endpoint of the female voice track, which was my first recording, and now I'm ready to record. So I hit the record button, and you'll see again the playhead moves, the recording grows, and I'm going to hit the space bar on the keyboard to stop that recording and to stop the playhead at the same time. Okay, so what I'd like to do is rename this to motorcycle, just to make sure that I know exactly what this track is containing. It contains what I'm going to say about my motorcycle picture. I also want to move the track up. I don't want the jingles track to be in between, so I just moved that up and I moved the jingles down. So I'm going to go ahead and just modify my picture a little bit. Again, making sure that the end point of the picture aligns with the end point of my recording. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to go ahead, start a new track, select Real Instrument and Create. And then I'd like for you to create a new track recording, insert a new picture, and make the adjustments that we just showed you. So go ahead and do that. I'll give you a few minutes. Now you'll be doing this several times because you do have several pictures, so you'll have many more tracks than I do at this point. But what we'd like to do is just move on and show you how to insert music into the background of your podcast. So what we'll want to do is go down to the media browser and open up our audio pane. We can go to iTunes right here, and you'll see I'm selecting my music, and this is my entire iTunes library. If you'd like to hear a sample of the songs, you can just double click on them, or you can click on them and hit the play button. I'm just going to double click. All right, when you want to stop it, you hit the play button. You can also go to the different loops. Now these can be jingles, they can be sound effects, really anything you want. And what we might do is go into jingles, and maybe I'll choose a cinematic jingle. And let's choose Borealis. Let's listen to it first. Okay, so that's not really what we're going for. Let's listen to this one. Okay, we'll keep looking. Okay, so we're going to go with this one, and you'll notice the time right here. You can see how long they are. That is going to work for us. So we're just going to simply drag it to our jingles track and drop it. And so right now it's in the background. Now there are a few things that you have to adjust here. First thing you want to make sure, and this automatically happens in GarageBand with the jingle track, it's automatically ducked, and the way that you know that is because this blue arrow is selected as opposed to the yellow arrows that are selected in these two tracks. The blue arrow simply means that this is being ducked, or it goes in back of the other tracks in the podcast, the motorcycle and the female voice. And it simply means that it's going to be a little bit softer, a little bit lower, play lower than the rest of the tracks. So let's take a listen. On top of that. So now I have an additional record. Okay. So there's a few things that I want to adjust at this point because the background music is not ducked as much as I'd like it to be. What you could do is turn it down right here in the track. I can also turn up the volume in both of my other tracks, which I might want to do with the voice tracks. So let's go ahead and play that again. All right, I'm recording. On top of that. So now, okay, so you should have heard something when there was nothing, or actually it was recording, but there was no sound being recorded. The music actually went up and played a little bit louder. Then when the voice came in again at this point, the music got softer. Okay, and these are the levels that I think are acceptable. The background music is not overpowering the voice. Okay, so now it's your turn to give this a shot. Go ahead and play with the different jingles, with sound effects, and even with in the media browser, with your own music. And then don't forget to adjust the sound, and you want to play it back. You want to make sure that the levels all sound correct, that nothing's really overpowering things that shouldn't be. Okay, and I will give you a few minutes to do that.